Number 15. Small shadow figure. While most shadow figures we've seen appear adult-sized, this one is child-sized, and it's all the creepier for it. Shared by TikToker Hard to Get To, a man is leaving his apartment when a small entity is captured on security camera, creeping in the background. Some are saying that's just a demon returning from its night shift. Others think it looks like Dobby, the house elf. But to be real, the thing that's most unsettling about this shadow figure is its size. Child-sized shadow figures are often viewed as playful and mischievous. They're seen darting around rooms, peeking out from behind furniture, or lingering in the dark corners of a home. Unlike adult-sized shadow figures, which can look menacing or imposing, child-sized figures are particularly eerie due to their smaller stature and the contrast between their innocent size and the fear they inspire. These figures resemble children in shape, but are devoid of any distinct features. They might have the outline of a head, arms, and legs, but lack any facial details or color, appearing as pure black silhouettes. Some reports suggest these figures move with a childlike quickness, skipping or scurrying as if playing a game of hide-and-seek. Others have noted the unsettling feeling that these entities are aware of being watched, often freezing or disappearing the moment they're spotted. This figure does seem to check those boxes. These child-sized shadows may be spirits of young children who have passed on, or they could be something more sinister, using an innocent form to appear less threatening. Does this figure have malicious intent? Or is it just a child spirit, unaware that it hasn't passed to the other side? Number 14. Ghost Passenger. Imagine spiriting a spirit into the afterlife. Redditor Soil Julio Lopez shares this footage of a phantom passenger catching a lift.
No le creían, que pensaban que el vato andaba bien drogado porque se salió una recta, hasta que checaron la cámara y ya se dieron cuenta que se le había subido la...
According to the video description, the truck driver apparently didn't realize that he had a woman in the cabin of his truck.
Que pensaban que el vato andaba bien drogado porque se salió una recta, hasta que checaron la cámara y ya se dieron cuenta que se le había subido la señora.
The phantom capture isn't unusual. Drivers or passengers frequently report seeing a figure seated in a vehicle, sometimes in the back seat or even beside them, only to realize that the figure isn't human. These apparitions often appear briefly, although this one seems to be hanging around. Stories of ghostly passengers usually emerge from locations with tragic histories, like roads where fatal accidents occurred or near cemeteries. Some believe that these spirits are reliving their final moments, or are simply lost souls seeking a final journey to the afterlife. In some accounts, drivers have conversed with these entities, only to look again and find their car empty. This driver, however, appears to not even notice his passenger. Perhaps he did feel a sudden chill or an unexplainable heaviness in the air. But there is little context to the clip, so we can only assume what is going on here. All we can say is that this is making us glance in our rearview mirror. Number 13. Night Shift Welder. A night guard was keeping an eye on security footage when he spotted a welder behaving strangely. He called another welder to witness it, and they were both left baffled. Here's why. Shared by Instagrammer Paranoid Normal, the footage shows the welder appearing to talk to someone, only no one is there. But in that invisible someone's place, a bright light appears, and that's when things get weirder. The welder even reaches out to shake the invisible person's hand. The bright light hovers before him. According to the welder seen here, he was greeting another worker coming in for his shift. Only one problem: the worker in question actually had the day off, and according to the story, he passed away at home from an unknown cause that same afternoon. Many in the comments are aghast at this story, with some pointing out observations of legitimacy they see in the clip. Instagrammer Ooh I Love It writes, "Dude, check out the hand grip when they shook hands. There's definitely someone there shaking his hand." Some are wondering if the bright light is what our soul energy looks like. They find it awe-inspiring. But others are a little more cynical about it, with I Only Lose Casino writing, "So even after we die, we still have to go to work?" While the spirit may have been clocking in, it's more likely that he just wanted to greet his friend one last time. Number 12. Real-life flubber. Is this real-world flubber? Instagrammer AkbashReza71 shares footage of what can only be described as slime. But the slime appears to be alive. Flubber is a fictional substance best known from the remake of Flubber starring Robin Williams. The name Flubber is a combination of flying rubber, which captures the essence of this bizarre, bouncy creation. Formed by a lab accident, the gooey green elastic material in the film features extraordinary properties, defying gravity, bouncing with incredible energy, and absorbing and releasing kinetic energy in a way that allows it to propel objects, or people, into the air. But fiction has now become reality. Scientists in Hong Kong have developed a magnetic slime capable of self-healing, encircling small objects, and undergoing significant deformation to squeeze through tight spaces. This dark-colored magnetic blob, controlled by magnets, is also a good electrical conductor and can be used to connect electrodes, according to its creators. The slime is made from a mixture of polyvinyl alcohol, borax, and neodymium magnet particles that can be manipulated to rotate, move, and form shapes like O's and C's when exposed to external magnets. Dubbed a magnetic slime robot, the study mentioned that while the slime currently lacks autonomy, the ultimate goal is to develop it into a functional robot. For now, the research focuses on understanding its material properties, including its viscoelastic nature, which allows it to behave sometimes like a solid and other times like a liquid. Not to be outdone, a team of researchers in Texas has also developed a new, rubbery, shape-shifting material that could lead to advanced biomedical applications. Their substance can take on pre-programmed shapes at room temperature and revert to a flat form when heated, or vice versa. The team at Rice University has already used this morphing material to create various shapes, including a face, the university's logo, a Lego block, and a rose. The material is composed of nanoscale liquid crystals embedded within an elastomer. These crystals are programmed to form a specific shape when the material is cool. However, when heat is applied, the crystals relax, causing the shape to collapse into a flat sheet. The two-step chemistry behind the material has been known for some time, but is now being harnessed for innovative applications. While it's not clear where this clip originated, or even if it's a scientific experiment at all, the fact that the camera pans around to show a date or serial number at the end lends itself to the likelihood that this is an invention in the making. Number 11. Teleportation. Believe it or not, this teleportation did not make the news, even though it was captured on it. TikToker Leslie XO shares strange footage of a man appearing to appear out of thin air.
Muy importante durante el entrenamiento y cuando firman el juramento que ellos están confirmando que no van a ser.
Those in the comments are shocked by this teleportation. Rachel Nance Zimmerman writes, "Maybe that's what happens when I'm driving and all of a sudden I'm home and don't remember the drive itself." Jokes aside, others are wondering what's really going on here and if this man truly did enter from another dimension.
Muy importante durante el entrenamiento y cuando firman el juramento que ellos están confirmando que no van a ser.
A handful of newscasts have captured similar so-called teleportations, but they could be related to the technical aspects of broadcasting. These include technical glitches, like breaks in video feed, such as a frame skip, distortion, or signal interference, or editing and layering errors, particularly when green screens or digital overlays are used to add backgrounds or graphics. If there's a misalignment or error in layering, a person might momentarily disappear or become transparent on screen. Video compression might also come into play. When file size for streaming or broadcasting is reduced, compression can cause visual artifacts, where parts of the image seem to disappear or pixelate, giving the illusion that a person has vanished. It can also sometimes be due to an optical illusion, although that doesn't appear to be the case here, as nothing moves in the man's path. But that leaves us with the question, is this just a broadcasting blip? Or did this man enter through another dimension? It certainly appears that a portal opened up. Number 10. The Peeker. That thing you see out of the corner of your eye. Well, turns out it's really there after all. Redditor Cloudy Days Zero's video is proof. They captured something dark peeking out at them from around the corner of a stairwell in their home. Take a look. According to the OP, everyone was asleep at the time, and the peeker was a little over 6 feet up the wall. Redditors are horrified by this, and some say they've seen something similar themselves. Redditor Lonely Foundation 658 writes, "My husband and I constantly see this in our apartment, but it's like a lighter, cloudy figure that peeks around the corner." They add that placing a mirror on the opposite wall has cut down on their sightings of the peeker. Some are wondering why the OP didn't just go look, but others are not surprised that they were frozen in fear. This peeking shadow people phenomenon is often unsettling, especially since the fleeting, dark figures seem to dart out of view just as quickly as they're noticed. The entities are typically seen in the periphery of one's vision, where the brain is most sensitive to movement, but less detailed in its perception. The peripheral vision is designed to detect motion and light changes, serving as an early warning system for potential threats. However, because this part of the eye provides less clarity, the brain often fills in the gaps, leading to misinterpretations. When the mind tries to make sense of vague shapes or movements in low light, it might create the illusion of a person or figure. This, combined with the natural fear of the unknown, can give rise to the experience of seeing shadow people. The brain becomes more susceptible to interpreting random stimuli as something more sinister under stress and fatigue. So, while some attribute these sightings to paranormal activity, others believe they are simply a trick of the mind, blending imagination with our natural alertness to movement. But this person was lucky enough to capture their sighting on camera, making it impossible to dismiss as a mere trick of the mind. And it has many wondering if what they've seen in their peripheral vision was really there all along. No one in the comments has any idea what it might be. But they all agree they wouldn't want to run into it head on. Number 9. Pub Poltergeist. In a remote country pub in Northern Ireland, a poltergeist has had too much Guinness. Redditor Prestigious Food 804 shares this footage of the pub ghost getting a bit rowdy. While some are aghast at how abruptly the glass breaks itself, others are noticing a discrepancy in the footage, a time lapse. Redditor Showbiz writes, "That 10-second jump in the time code isn't very paranormal, is it? This is what they're talking about. Pay close attention to the timestamp in the upper left-hand corner." While this is enough for many in the comments to dismiss this footage as falsified, this ignores the evidence in favor of the paranormal theory. What could have caused the glass to take the leap, if not for a pub ghost? The Best Speller writes, "Of course there are spirits. It's a bar." But others are suggesting the usual suspects: condensation under the glass causing it to tumble on its own. While the timestamp is a major red flag, it doesn't explain how the glass breaking was staged, if it was. Fishing wire? Telekinesis? What do you think? Number 8. Orbs galore. Do our security cameras capture lost souls? After viewing their security footage, Redditor Acel1989 was wondering if that's the case. Take a look. The orb smoothly ascends and then descends. It appears steady and purposeful. This capture led the OP to examine further footage, which turned out to be even more alarming. Most in the comments believe the first capture was a spider, and the subsequent videos are dust. Redditor WiseAd253 explains that dust particles from carpets, hair, fabric fibers, and other debris can easily take flight within a home, needing almost no effort to become airborne. The flow of air inside can create circular motions that keep them suspended, often near walls or corners. It's nearly impossible to avoid these tiny particles, and when light catches them just right, motion sensors can detect them, highlighting their presence even when they're nearly invisible to the naked eye. This seems a quite practical explanation, but some in the comments insist that at least some of these anomalies are spirit orbs. Luddington128 writes, "Don't listen to all the dust comments. especially the flashing orb. You have spirit activity in your house. The OP says they were curious because their 3-year-old daughter told them a little boy plays in her room. They also claim to have another video of one of the orbs knocking over their son. The residents who previously lived in this home practiced black magic and even placed satanic pentagrams in some areas of the home. Luddington 128 suggests that a portal may have been opened, and that the OP should sage or smudge the home to get rid of the entities and negative energy. But others think the place is just in need of a good dusting. Number 7. Haunted supermarket. Everyone who's ever worked a night shift in a supermarket or retail shop knows that stocking products often draws out the spirit stalkers. TikToker Ger Ramirez Rivera shares his experience in the haunted workplace.
Miren, ya se movió. ¡Oh! Está caminando, de hecho está que no manches. No manches. Y se sigue moviendo.
A dark figure can be seen moving at the end of the aisle. The OP is otherwise alone in the supermarket, so this capture is undoubtedly paranormal. In another clip of this same video, the OP points out a second anomaly that he didn't observe in person. Watch closely.
Chequenlo otra vez, amigos. Ahí está. Desaparece, amigos. Ya no está.
A woman's face appears to be peering out from the stairs behind him.
Chéquense, amigos. Chéquense. Ahí está. Clarito, miren.
Is this the same spirit that later appeared crossing the aisle?
Otro fantasma, amigos. Fantasma, no sé cómo llamarle, ¿verdad? Pero salió el segundo. Gracias.
Or is this supermarket just teeming with ghosts? Maybe we've just caught these ghosts out on their weekly ghostly grocery run. Number 6. Ghost push. This worker is either very uncoordinated, or he just got knocked over by a ghost. Shared by TikToker Maria Garcia 6, this is what happens when workplace ghosts have evil intent. The worker appears to have been given a shove. Even his reaction says so, as he races off in alarm. While some are saying the man did it to himself, and in other words, it's been staged, others are certain this is legit. TikToker Jake Abdul Osama writes, "It was some force behind that push. You can see the momentum." It does look pretty real, almost like he had his leg kicked out from under him. What do you think? Number 5. Unexplained whirlpool. A whirlpool without a drain? What in the world is going on here? Instagrammer The Inexplicable shares this footage of standing water reacting unpredictably on a flat surface. Though this seems inexplicable, some are trying to find an explanation. Instagrammer Gusper75 writes, "Just the water going through the cracks in the floor." Others say it looks like a small octopus or maybe some sort of insect. But considering this is a mausoleum, many are considering that spirits or other paranormal entities are at play. One Night writes, "Jinn usually do this, similar with empty packets twirling around when there's not much wind." Jinn's behavior is often depicted as unpredictable and varied, depending on their individual nature, intentions, and interactions with humans. Some Jinn are believed to be benevolent, while others are thought to be mischievous or even malevolent. One common belief is that Jinn are capable of manipulating the elements, including water. This has led to stories where Jinn create whirlpools and bodies of water. In such tales, Jinn may use these swirling vortices to travel between realms, hide treasures, or simply as a display of their power. While it may be a Jinn, could it also simply be a spirit in one of these nearby drawers, playing around? It's anyone's guess. Number 4. Bulgarian Ghost. A ghostly entity is creeping around a village in Bulgaria. Shared by a Redditor whose username has since been deleted, this capture is giving chills to all who lay eyes on it. This photograph was recently shared by the OP's cousin, who explained that it was taken by her friends around 3 a.m. The eerie image seems to tie into a local legend about a woman who died of cancer 30 years ago, her hand amputated during her illness. Strangely enough, the figure in the photo appears to have a severed hand, just like the woman in the story. The OP is wondering whether it's a coincidence or something far more sinister. Many in the comments think it may possibly just be another person, out for a late-night stroll. Others don't think its hand is missing at all, and they insist the photo is too blurry to tell. The OP explains that the group was taking selfies, and the figure was captured in the background of one of these selfies. The zoom is why it appears somewhat blurry. While the information provided may be too vague, and the photo too blurry to tell what the figure is and what its motive may be, you have to admit the figure's semi-transparency and somewhat awkward stance does give it a creepy vibe. Number 3. Creepy apartment. Everyone living in this building has experienced something strange, and now they've captured it on camera. Shared by a now deleted Reddit account, this is why you don't taunt ghosts.
That was up there. Dick.
While many in the comments admonish the OP for provoking the spirit, others are wondering what other strange experiences the residents have had there. The OP details these experiences in the comments. One of the strange events occurred one night, while lying in bed. One of the roommates heard her only other female roommate call her name from the living room. Curious, she got up and went to check, only to find the living room empty. She searched the house, but everyone else was still in bed. Assuming she had imagined it, she returned to bed. However, the next morning, her roommate asked, "Did you call me last night? I heard you, but when I came out, you weren't there." That eerie coincidence left them both stunned. Another strange incident occurred during a Christmas tree decorating night in the apartment below. Everyone was enjoying themselves when she saw her boyfriend's brother standing in the living room doorway. Thinking nothing of it, she turned to her left, only to find him standing right beside her. When she quickly glanced back at the doorway, no one was there. The last strange event happened after stepping out of the bathroom. She noticed someone crouched down, seemingly hiding around a corner. Excited to turn the tables, she jumped out and shouted, "I see you." But to her surprise, the figure vanished into thin air. These were just a few of the unsettling experiences she and her roommates have experienced in this place. Though each incident could probably be rationalized, together, they add up to something rather more unsettling. And this is the icing on the cake. Number 2. Westgate Crater. Something's a-brewin' below the Westgate in Las Vegas. Instagrammer Vegas Bartender shares this compelling footage of an unusual crater being burrowed underground. It looks like something is moving below the earth. Is it a massive slithering creature of some kind? Some think so. Instagrammer Mr. Monday suggests it's the Chamber of Secrets, while others suggest it's a giant snake or some unknown species. And still others think it's a sinkhole. This last theory is perhaps the scariest due to the unpredictable nature of sinkholes. Sinkholes open up at random, but they're usually caused by a combination of natural processes and human activities that undermine the stability of the ground. Typically, sinkholes form when water erodes the bedrock below the surface, creating underground voids. This erosion occurs in areas with soluble rocks like limestone, gypsum, or salt. As water dissolves these rocks, the dissolution can lead to the gradual collapse of the ground above. Basically, when the ground above a weakened area can no longer support its weight, it suddenly collapses, creating a sinkhole. Is this a sinkhole though? If it is, these guys should be wary, but some think it's much more mundane than that. Instagrammer Dewback6 writes, "It's a tunnel boring machine too close to the surface. You can see the boring head spinning, and he even says it in the video." While it may simply be machinery, if you didn't know any better, you'd probably be destroying your pants too. Thankfully, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. Number 1. Demon. Living with a demon is not easy. TikToker Joshua Luke is experiencing some paranormal activity in his home, and it's giving him and his partner insomnia.
Dios mío, ¿qué es eso? ¿Hay alguien ahí? ¿Quieres algo? ¿Qué es eso? ¿Qué es eso? No inventes, ¿qué es eso? ¿Qué es? Se abrió. Espérate, cálmate.
After hearing banging in the wardrobe, the door opens, and something clearly moves inside.
Alúzame. Espérate, alúzame. No hay nada, mira, no hay nada. No sé.
Searching the wardrobe turns up nothing. Is it a demon? A boggart? A boggart is a shape-shifting creature from English folklore that takes on the form of a person's worst fear. Boggarts are believed to dwell in dark, hidden places like under beds or in cupboards or wardrobes. In some traditions, they're also seen as household spirits that bring bad luck if provoked or disturbed. This wardrobe mischief maker could very well be a boggart. But a second video, captured during the witching hour, unveils something far more sinister. A humanoid creature lurking nearby.
Mija, se asomó alguien. Se está asomando alguien en la escuela. Se asomó alguien en la escuela, mija. Mira, otra vez se asomó alguien. Párate para que veas que no estoy payaseando, no es mentira. Es en serio. Mira, levántate.
Though the figure isn't inside their home, this gives rise to the prospect that maybe it's stalking the entire neighborhood. And we can agree, if it is, it's scaring 94% of viewers.